Me, I just hear a lot of change, like a lot of horror stories around nannies in
As long
Nigeria.
as you find a good one.
Yes, they say they have agencies and all that
Those
stuff, but
agencies, they're
I'm
out to make
like,
their money. They don't really do due
the due
diligence all the
diligence.
time.
Because I've heard like nannies complain about them, like sometimes like they eat all the food in the this
That
thing.
one is never my problem. Eat, but don't do some of these other crazy things like maybe
Beat
abusing
the
the
baby,
child,
yes.
beating the
Put
baby.
the baby in the
Who
freezer.
understand all those
What?
crazy things?
Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond 30 podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all things relationship and life after 30. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about surviving raising kids abroad, so in diaspora. And I have my two friends here.
Temi,
And Dr. O.
So, you guys, what's the difference between raising children maybe in your home country, Nigeria, and abroad?
Should we start with the ages because there are different phases? You know, there's the baby, toddler, then children, then you get to the teenagers
yeah,
and
I
young
like that.
adults. All the phases are different for each country.
I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
So where should we start from? From the beginning?
babies. Yeah,
babies. For me, if you ask me, where would you rather raise your baby? That's between 1 to 2 years or 1 to 3 years old, abroad or Nigeria? I would say Nigeria because at that age you need a lot of support. A whole lot of support
I agree.
because babies are very demanding at that time. So I would say Nigeria. Like I personally, for my first daughter, I gave her to abroad, but then we came to Nigeria and she was there until 3 years old. It was easy. I had my house girl, I had my mom, I had my mother-in-law. You know, anytime I need to do something, I don't feel like, oh, where am I going to put this baby? Because grandma's house is always there.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to think twice. If I'm
Yeah.
going somewhere and I can't go with baby, she's going to grandma's house with their
Yeah.
house girl, you know.
Yeah.
Unlike here, where if you had a baby, the people that even go and drop the baby with in their house also have work. They have things they are doing, so you can't just show up
True.
and drop
Yeah.
the baby. So
Yeah.
for me, that's why I'll say at that age, Nigeria is easier to raise a child. If you talk about support system.
And
What do
if
you
you
guys
have support system,
In Nigeria, I feel like why would you not have support
Not
system?
a lot of
Except you're living in a
people. Not
different
everybody.
city from your family.
yes, that could be.
But
it.
even then, there's always a house girl. If you don't have family,
I guess you could
get a house
hire-
girl. So the only
But
thing is
can
that you
you
will never
trust-
leave your
yeah.
house girl alone with your kids. But there's someone to wash the baby's clothes, to make your food, to do every other thing, and all you have to do is focus on the baby. Unlike here,
Yeah, I think it's for me. I think if you have support in Nigeria, I agree. And then when I mean support, not just like getting like a nanny or house girl, family support, family you can trust support. Because I feel like I hear a lot of stories. I mean around like people who hire nannies and they don't have family support and they're always changing nannies continuously. I feel like unless you're lucky enough to have a really
stable
trusted, like maybe someone who grew up with you, maybe someone who raised you as a nanny, and you already trust this person, then it's also the same for me. Like for me, that support there is the family support, trusted family support. Other than that, I don't know that there's a real benefit to having your kids in Nigeria versus here, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, as somebody who has not experienced, what Femi just painted was what heaven should look
The
like.
ideal, the ideal
scenario.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. But what I can say is, compared to all the horror stories of even like the childbirth, like the early babyhood, especially health-wise, I enjoyed the fact that I had the best doctors. Yes, my mom was there. So I can't really, the first few months, I can't really complain. Is when my mother left. I don't know if she knows this. As soon as she walked out the door and they were going to drop her at the airport, I literally sat on the floor and I wept because I knew that, hey, God, I'm going to see Pepe. Because, well, while Momsi was there, right, she was doing everything.
Yeah.
And so she gave me time to like look after myself, heal and everything. So when
Yeah.
she left, I didn't have that support again. So if that is the only thing that supports, then I want to be where the support is. It doesn't
Yes.
matter where
Yeah.
where in the world.
Yeah.
But apart from support, everything else was okay. No. Please, I take that back. Have you ever been in a situation where you want to go somewhere, but you don't want to carry a child?
Right.
But you are forced to carry this child every single place like you go. Like there's some places that you know that I really don't want to take this baby. For me, it's not even having someone to drop the baby with. It's sometimes you want to go with someone that can also hold the baby. Like imagine you want to go to the bathroom. That thing bugs me. You carry your baby to the bathroom. Then is it that you put the baby outside the door?
Yeah.
Then you now be checking. Like it was just a lot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand what you mean. Like, I feel like when I think of the baby one too, I agree with the support. And then I also think about like the access to other services, right? Like, so like I know one of the things I struggled with with my daughter was like latching. I feel like if it was Nigeria, I don't know that I would have figured it out.
You will figure it out. We also have lactation experts in Nigeria.
Madam, in the hospital?
In the hospital.
And that means you must have paid, you must have plenty money.
Wait, the
to
question
pay.
is what kind of hospital?
Yeah, like you must have.
So we have them everywhere. It's just that in the public hospitals, they are probably not called lactation experts. They are just the regular nurses that will teach you, you have to do like this, hold your baby like this, put it like this, let the baby
But I
suck.
was hearing, I don't know, I don't know if this is correct. I might be wrong, but I hear that Nigerian nurses are not
Hey,
as
they're
patient.
not the nicest.
That it's almost like they're upset with you if you're not getting it right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
and I remember when I was in the hospital, like they were very patient with me. I felt I didn't feel pressured
Yeah.
to get it right. Like,
So you have a point right there where, here generally the customer service is better than back home. So that whole being caring and everything is part of
Yes.
good customer service.
Yes.
There they don't care too much about it. It's just like, madam, what's wrong with you? Can't you do
Get it right,
you understand? But
yes.
here they will talk to you with respect, and so there's definitely that.
And also like the check-ins, like so I used a midwife in the beginning, and they would check in. They'll come and check the baby's weight, like the level of information, the kind of information I got from like them gave me confidence to continue without them.
Sure.
Whereas like in Nigeria, I feel like everybody will just be telling you this. This is your mom, your auntie, your mother-in-law, your this. Everybody will have their opinion. Meanwhile, a lot of them have even forgotten what it was like.
Sure.
And they're just trying to use a head knowledge to remember, oh yeah, this is how we did it. But no, like, like sometimes like things like, oh, the baby first loses weight.
Yeah.
Don't panic. The baby first loses weight before they start to gain weight again. I feel like if that happened in Nigeria, I would have almost like died, like, oh my
No,
God.
but you'd have probably gone to the doctor, and doctor will tell you, oh, this is nothing to worry about. And
Yeah,
if you have a good doctor.
It's just that.
But see, I hear what Amy is saying. I completely agree. So for a lot of moms, when you give birth abroad, the barest minimum is this thing we're talking about, where somebody actually comes to check, is the baby breastfeeding? Let me see how you are doing. Like, show me how you're doing. And then they help you walk through whatever issues. Then they come to your house. Like they came to our house, they checked the temperature of our house. They wanted to see where baby sleeps. They were like, okay, remove the cot from this side of the room to that side because the sun comes out. My baby was a summer baby. So remove the baby from this side of the room. Take the cot to that side because the sun will come out here first and it will affect baby's sleep during the day. Like things like that as a new mom, you don't know, right? So I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about when it comes to like the baby stage, But then there's also the apps that I used. So it didn't really matter location to know like what to expect. But I'm guessing like if you're in Nigeria too and you don't have that level of support. Like I used like Glow and I
Mine was baby center.
Baby Center. Well, actually, it's Baby Center a lot. And
use Baby
WebMD,
Center.
very, very good step by step. Like, okay, here's what to expect at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and So
Okay.
Anyway,
So let's move to toddler stage. What was it like for you guys?
Toddler stage. Toddler is between what year to what year?
Me, I feel like it differs.
Once they start working.
Depends.
Once you start working, it's true. You're right. Once you start working, you're a toddler. So that's
That's
around
true.
1 to
Yeah.
3 years old or so. Yeah. So I at least had my daughter toddler stage back home in Nigeria, and it was great too because, like I said, I had the
Support.
house girl, everything. So
This
I
babe,
didn't have
she has
to-
This one was
she-
this
Oh,
one
but
was the
but my
prince.
son was here now. I so far. That's why I'm like, I don't know what to
I feel like
when
it
I
might have been
compare
during
Nigeria,
COVID, right?
it was during COVID.
That was a special
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, it was very special because then daycares are not even open. All these things.
Yeah.
I suffered. So I'm like, I can never.
And also,
feel-
you're used to having that much support in Nigeria. That's why.
It's a lot of
Like,
support.
you know, that support that you have is
Yeah.
not common.
House girl.
No, it's not about house girl.
Is that about what?
It's about having trusted people
Oh yes, because
around
I
you.
could trust her, and then my
Your
mom
mom-
was always there. My mother-in-law, everything. It was.
This
in-
your house girl. You
in
know,
fact,
this your
as
house
feminists-
girl from like
Childhood.
when
Can you
childhood.
imagine?
Exactly.
As far as even counting it, I'm even jealous of you. Like what you had all these people on
I had,
standby
like,
for
they
you.
were always there.
I mean,
Always. Even when I had to go on calls, like when I was on calls,
Mm-hmm.
I would go with my baby. The house girl would be in the call room with
Yeah.
the baby. So every time I'm not doing anything, I'll come and check them, play with them, feed that, do whatever, go back. There was even a time when I had to go to hospital because I started, to work, so hospital. I started work from after 4 months. So the baby was still 4 months. She didn't start daycare until 6 months. Those 2 months, she was coming to work. We were all going to work every day. We pack baby bag, everything. So the house girl will stay in
Just
one room with the
wait.
baby while
My
I'm
goodness.
consulting. Then during my
Wow.
break, I'll go.
Oh
and
my!
play, then come out. Yeah,
That's like
so it was-
VIP,
Yeah.
VIP service.
Yeah, it was good.
See, so that's the thing. Like that's what I think about. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, even if I know that I'm gonna have access to support, like maybe get a nanny, maybe even have 2-3 nannies, you know, doing different things. I have a real issue with like how people switch, like change nannies. I just hear a lot of change, like a lot of horror stories around nannies in
As long
Nigeria.
as you find a good one.
Yes.
Yes.
They say, oh, they have agencies and all that
Those
stuff,
agencies,
but
they're
I'm
out to
like,
make their money. They don't really do due diligence all the time.
because I've heard like nannies complain about them, like sometimes like they eat all the food in this
That
thing.
one is not my problem. Eat, but don't do some of these other crazy things like maybe abusing
the
the,
baby.
child,
Yes.
beating the
Put
baby.
the baby in the freezer.
You understand all those crazy things.
Okay, you guys are about to traumatize me. Sorry, into freezer. Wow.
No, I mean those are extreme ones, but like
Yeah.
it's just some of those stories you
Yeah.
hear as a mom. You're like,
Yes.
I'm even
There was one I
afraid
heard
to
that
even do it.
the girl had HIV and she was using all the children's toothbrushes to brush,
Oh my
and then she now use it for them and stuff.
Why?
Like that.
That
Yes.
is wicked.
So that was very
Yes.
intentional. Yes. And then what about the ones that they are witches? There's one person that
It's about to get.
you don't hear that. You've not heard of house girl before?
I've not had house girl before.
No, not as in your house girl. When you were small, people didn't have house girl growing up. Hey.
I
don't want
never
to-
had anyone in my house.
We've not had.
As in my
girls,
house
but
was
we've had
that house
people.
where
It was just,
even family members were not allowed to
yeah,
stay. So
yeah, that was good. Although we did not have a witch house girl, but my auntie, so my cousin gave me this gist. My first cousin said one of their house girls was a witch, and they used to notice straight. I even have 2 instances of people that had witch house girl.
There are many.
Yes,
That's what I used to hear.
So that particular one, the first one, I'll give you the 2 stories. The first one, right? So I don't even know what the girl did. You know how they misbehave sometimes. Then my auntie raised her hand to slap her. Her hand hung in the air. Like this. She could not bring it down. She could not bring it down. Then the hand was paining her. And I don't even remember how they brought it down. How they said they brought it down because I wasn't there. That day was the same day they sent the
Of
girl out of the
course.
house. That was one. 2, this one was a sad story. The house girl was a witch, but they didn't know the house girl was a witch. So they now gave birth to a newborn baby. That's my auntie, my mommy's cousin, gave birth to a newborn baby. And the baby was just falling sick. Go to hospital, they will not see what was
Nothing.
wrong, they won't be able to treat the baby. Eventually, the baby died.
Oh, yeah.
So after the baby died,
This
when they
is
now
sad.
went to church, that was when it was now revealed to them that the house girl is a witch. They now took her for deliverance. She now started confessing that she has some buckets of water she used to keep behind the fridge or somewhere
Just
in the
like all
house
those
and
things they used to
everything.
say when we were
Yes.
younger. Yeah.
And that they used to eat. They've been eating the baby slowly
Lord
from
of
inside,
Jesus.
eating the baby until the baby finally died. Since then, that my auntie never took
And
house
how do
girl
you,
again.
so for me, it's like, how do you even go from hearing those things and even
To still being able
experience and
to-
still
Okay.
because that's one of my major like issues. Like we didn't have like a house girl, but we had like people from like the village that maybe my dad was trying to help. And I think there was a particular instance of a specific one. Honestly, I can't remember exactly what she did, but there was just a night my mom like was like, I can't do it anymore. My dad had to drive her back to the village in the night.
Yeah.
Yes, because it was that bad. And since then, like, I just had a policy around like having house helps, like especially those that live in the
Yeah.
house and sleep in the house
Yeah.
with me. Do you understand? So that's where my struggle is. Like, that's why I kept emphasizing on like it has to be family
Yes.
trusted. It's not
Trusted,
even
not
all.
just even any
It's not just.
family.
It's not all
Yeah.
family members that you can leave your kids with.
Yeah.
Trusted family members.
Yeah.
And you can go. Yeah.
Wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, those are.
I suppose that my parents shielded me from that distance because we didn't have anybody that ever lived in a house. So I grew up with the mindset that why do you have people living in your house?
Yeah.
So even though, if I'm being completely honest, my second baby was easy. My first baby, no, my kids were easy. Let me put it like that. But it was the mental loneliness during the day that was even the issue. It wasn't taking care of the baby. It was like, because everyone goes to work, right? It's not like, I feel like in Nigeria, you have people who are always about, who are prepared to keep you company.
Yeah, that's true.
In London, it was so different because by 7 o'clock, everyone has gone to work. Like even the entire building is
It's
quiet.
empty.
Nobody's there, right? And you have this baby that cannot talk to you every single day in, day out, day out. And people don't get back to the house until like 7 p.m. because work closes at 5.
And the kids
So
do it,
let's just say from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You are by yourself, right? And there's nobody to say, even when baby's crying, there's nobody to say, please hold this baby. Let me take it. Like
Shower.
there were even times when I'll be in the shower and you just hear the baby screaming. That's the end of the shower. Like you
Have to
actually
come out
hurriedly
now.
rinse your body
Yes, now.
and go and carry the baby. And it's not like the baby would get injured if you leave the baby. But I think it's just
Yeah,
that
just wonder what's
mothering
going on,
thing.
what's
Yeah.
It's not true. Yeah.
So it was the mental part I struggled with. Like it was bad. I don't want to
Yeah.
call it postnatal depression because but it was bad.
Yeah. And so like
Yeah, but since we're talking about surviving, can you guys give us tips of how you survived at
Here.
least for that age? How did you survive? Raising kids.
are we
That
doing
we're
the
still
toddler?
in the baby toddler
Baby
phase. We're
toddler,
not
okay.
even
Toddler.
beyond that.
Yeah, like so for me, I think so we had some form of support. Like I had some form of support. I had my sister-in-law was here, so she was very helpful with like, and she had older kids, right? And they were also like kids that were reasonable kids,
Yeah.
because it's not every kid that you can leave your
Yeah,
child
very
with,
true.
and they loved my babies, right? So
Yeah.
it was easy for us to like drop them off at my sister-in-law's and say, let's go.
Yeah.
We go get some food, like we'll go to the movies or something like that. And then even in church, we were part of like, a really good church community where like, people were just always helpful. You know what I mean?
In what way were they helpful?
Sometimes like I've had like for my boy, especially during COVID, sometimes I'll just be lonely, right? And I'm on mat leave, right? And some of my church members, so some of them have like older kids, they already, love the kids and they
Yeah.
see them in church on Sunday, right? So it's like, okay, do you want us to come and we will take a walk, we'll take a walk in the neighborhood with the baby, with me, and then we'll have a conversation. So at least my mind wasn't always like mentally only thinking about the baby. I was having some form of like social life, right, outside of like the baby being there. And then when it comes to like daycare, we didn't have to worry too much about that because you have like 1 year of maternity leave in Canada, right? So basically you're being paid to be home with your baby for a year. It's your choice. Like with my first child, I did 1 year of maternity leave, 1 full year. I even had time to upskill, right? With my son, I just did 7 months because I got a job that I liked. So I put him in it's like a home daycare. So there are like options, and it wasn't full time; it was like part time, right? So there's like ways around it, and I have a very supportive husband too, that was ready to watch the baby, bathe the baby, change diapers, all that stuff, which was kind of good because then I didn't have to worry too much about like, oh, I'm doing all the work. Do you understand? So yeah. That's kind of how I survived. Yeah. There's still tough moments where it's like, it'd be nice if my mom was here all the time.
Yeah.
There's still that, but I mean, it wasn't as. I'm just imagining if I had to hire like a nanny to do all those things here, very expensive.
Yeah,
So it's not an option.
We pay per hour.
Even though the nannies here they're not like the ones in Nigeria. They're bound by.
Oh, there
their
are some
law.
of them. Have you
of
seen
course,
what hidden cameras
they're
have
crazy.
captured?
No,
Do you watch
they're
social
crazy
media?
people
Are
everywhere.
you serious?
Oh yeah, they're
Even
crazy.
here?
No, but the way I see that one is, I feel like they're crazy people everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? So if you go with a very reputable agency and you have all the right things in place, like the cameras, you don't even need to hide
It's
it.
those cameras that is
They
important.
don't even
You
need to
can't
hide
rely
it.
on anybody.
They can know that there's camera.
Of course.
Right? They'll be like, have cameras in the house.
So they behave.
Themselves. You can watch your baby,
Yeah.
constantly if you want to sit down and just be watching the baby,
Yeah.
which most people really don't have time for. So the real work there is due diligence is important, because you can even do your own due diligence where you ask for police report. And very rarely do you find people like doctoring police report like they do in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So here you get police report, vulnerable sector report. So like you're pretty much almost covered.
No, you're not covered. I don't agree that you're covered. I can have a police report and you don't know my secret desires just because I wasn't caught. Police report is only when you are
fair
caught.
enough.
You're
That's
not
like
caught. It's
next
only reflected.
level.
Yes,
That's
because I
fair
see some
enough.
horror things on social media. I'm like I just have cringe of leaving my kids alone with anybody in a private setting. You understand? Without like if my parents are there, fine. But
I
say
agree.
I'm just leaving them with a nanny. Except there's hidden camera, like that's not how. Do you get? Except when they have reached a certain age, like when they are 10, 9, and I know that they can explain, narrate,
Yes,
and they
they
know,
can
like if someone is trying to
speak
tell
up.
them to do
Yeah.
what they shouldn't, they know that this is not right, and they're like, hey. But when they are still at that baby stage, it's
No,
hard.
I understand. I'm not
It's-
saying that people should leave their
Yeah.
kids with any kind of nanny.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if I hired a nanny in Nigeria, dude, I can't. You can't even leave.
Even in
Versus
Nigeria,
if
I can't
do it
live
here.
anywhere. Nigeria, but I can't leave my nanny alone with my
That makes
kids.
sense.
It
Yeah.
has to either be in public where everybody is or my parents' house. But they are alone at the house. No, it has never happened. It's well, I've passed having kids.
Okay,
so it's
let me ask you, since Femi is very particular about these living kids.
Yeah.
Now that your kids they're not toddlers, they are getting older, they are wiser. Can you still leave them, or you can
With a
still leave them?
nanny,
Yes,
with a nanny.
even now.
I still need them to grow a little older. Maybe when they are 10 and above, then I can consider, because I've armed them, they are wise, they are able to say, no, this is not right. No, this I'm going to tell my mommy, you can't really brainwash them at a certain age if you have done your work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
but
get
at a
it.
younger age, they are still vulnerable. They are
Impressionable.
still,
Yeah.
so it's easy for someone to psych their head and be doing something and you won't even know. But as they get older, you are telling them and they're more mature and it's more difficult. So I can maybe loosen up as they get older, even though still with caution. Let me not lie. The time I'll be comfortable to leave them fully is when they're like 16 years old. And I know that
Is that not adults?
yes, then I know that these ones are like
They're going to
adults.
university, man.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, okay, I've done my part. I've protected you. If you don't protect yourself from this point, then you don't have sense. I've done my part. Do you get? So
Yeah.
I think that's when I'll be comfortable to like let's go and be like, okay, that's another reason why we don't do sleepovers. For this same reason, I can't trust someone alone with my kid that I don't know what's happening. Like, no.
Yeah.
So
See,
No, I agree with you.
I don't know
do.
how people do
I do.
sleepovers. I remember my child coming back one day. I was like, "Mommy, everyone in my class is doing sleepovers. Why can't we do sleep?" I'm like, first of all, your mother is nice. No, but so what I told her was like, first of all, do I look like? And I called the name of her best friend. I said, "Do I look like her mom?"
yeah.
She was like, "No." I was like, "Fantastic. Your
Yeah,
mom
not to
is an African mom.
Yeah.
We don't do sleepovers."
Yeah.
And then when I saw that it was a big deal for her, I had to explain that, look, my primary role is to protect you.
Yes.
And if you are in someone's house, I can't protect you.
Yes.
So you stay in my house
Yeah.
where my two eyes can reach
Yeah.
you until when you leave my care. If you
Yeah.
like, go and sleep over in
Yes.
whatever country you like. You are fine. Right? So
That's tricky. Yeah. It's tricky to do sleepovers.
It is. It is.
did
I
you
don't
see
do
the evil? I don't like being the one to
No,
bring all these
yeah.
stories. But did you see the story of the man who had
Drugged the kids.
who drugged
The girls.
So they had a sleepover, and then he drugged his daughter's friends. And unfortunately, when maybe one or two of them did not take the drink, and then they woke up in the night and saw him trying to molest. Like, what in the name of?
Scary.
Imagine innocence.
I don't even want to leave my mind to even
Yeah.
think about it,
Yeah.
which is why sleepovers, like, it's not about you. So here's the thing, like, I work, like, one of my issues is parents who get, like, it's not that they visibly get upset at you for not allowing your
Okay,
kids to do
sleepover.
sleepovers.
Yeah.
It's just, you just notice that, maybe they're withdrawing, from your, like, their kids are withdrawing from your kids, or they're withdrawing
Maybe
from
they feel
you.
offended, like, so you don't trust me.
Yes, I feel like,
I beg.
please don't be offended. It's not about that.
Yeah.
What's important here is that everybody is safe and okay. Friendships can be done outside of sleepovers. I don't even know.
Exactly.
Did we do sleepovers? Was it a thing when we were growing
The
up?
only sleepover I had was like in my cousin's house. We used to go for sleepover in my cousin's house. My cousins used to come over to our house, and it was only one cousin. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with sleepovers.
Yeah.
In fact, to go for birthday party safe.
Demi's was extreme. Like, okay, so you know what?
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
think
yeah.
we've talked about baby, we've
toddler.
talked about toddler, we've talked about slightly older.
Yeah.
So the only person who has experienced having children in both Nigeria and abroad is the person to my left. So can you tell me, what did you do to manage, like when you saw how it was, what did you now do to cope?
How what was?
Like when you now saw that, this is
Okay,
a
you mean
different,
coming abroad?
like when you came abroad and you now saw that this is a different world, what did you do?
It was not funny. I'm not sure I coped well in the beginning, no, because it's like, what on earth is this? We used to having help, like baby's clothes are sorted. Like literally, sometimes all you have to do is take your baby. Someone is asking, what are you going to eat tomorrow? I'm the one that say, please, I've eaten enough. Don't come and ask me what to eat. This one, I'll finish, baby. I'll still make
That's
food. I'll
baby
still
girl lifestyle,
so
man.
it was
Yeah.
so different. It was hard. I don't even know it. I think eventually I just had to be like, okay, I have to, put on my shoes and,
That was
go
when
ahead
we
and-
met you.
That was
after.
By the time you met him, my son was already at least 3 years or so. Kindergarten.
So that means you already survived it then.
I'd survived now.
Because
The hard part had passed.
when I
The
met
hard
you, I
part
did
had
not
passed.
notice any sort of
No,
this
the hard
thing.
pattern. Because when I came with a baby, 2 months old,
My God.
could not sit, could not walk, could not do anything. 2 months. Do you get?
yeah.
So all his milestones he achieved in Canada. So it was hard, and it was a crying. When you say if he's crying, okay. Well, did I just you guys about when we came, we stayed in Airbnb and somebody put a note at our door. I don't tell you guys.
No.
Oh my God. You see that boy, if he cries then, you will hear it in, as we are here, you will hear it in Alpine Park. It's very high, squeaky cry. Like, so, when we first of all came, we stayed in an Airbnb. Then, every night he'll be crying. One day, we now woke up. Saw note on our door. Please do something about your baby's crying. I can't sleep. I'm like,
Should we
I'm like, if you can't sleep, then the person that is with the baby, what do you think is happening
It's
to
your baby
Do you
now.
understand? That one did I ask babies to cry? Do you get? Then right beside the note was another note saying, don't mind this person. We hear the cry and it doesn't disturb us. I'm like, thank you. Somebody that has sense. Like, how are you telling me that my baby's crying so you can't sleep? But me that I'm with the baby, do you think I'm sleeping? If you wanted to sleep, go and buy mansion because it was Airbnb condo. Don't be staying in condo and telling me you cannot sleep because baby's oh nonsense. I was so angry. So it was that bad. His cry was so loud, and you can imagine it was and there's nobody, and it was during COVID, so no daycare, no nothing, and nobody to say, okay, take
Yes.
go and have some fun while I take care of the baby.
And it was just
Nothing
you guys,
like
no
that.
family
It was
member,
just,
nobody.
I think
And
we
it was
just
during
landed,
COVID too,
COVID, it was
No,
hard.
that was a tough
It
time though, I
was
won't lie.
tough,
That was
but
tough. Okay.
I survived, Sha.
So when you
if
wore
say
your
manage,
big girl
I don't know.
panties, what now changed? What were you doing differently?
So it's just mindset. I just thought that okay, this is my duty. I have to do this. It's only for a while. It will pass. And I just did what I had. Sometimes it's mindset. When you have to look at something like, this thing is so hard. Why should I do this? But then you just change your mind that it's only for a few months. Blah, blah, blah. You just see that you're doing it. And so it's really, I think I just
It's a
did a lot of
mindset
mind work.
thing.
I just worked on my mind. That, this is only for a while. This is, and that was how I survived it though, because.
I want to find out if either of you was a pram mom.
Which one is
Like
pram?
you have
Strollers.
like stroller and you take the baby round.
Oh, in Nigeria, obviously, the climate doesn't like. When I say climate, I mean bad road. Where will you even be strolling to in Nigeria? But here, very well. Because when you have, after a while, COVID, they now say, okay, you can now start coming out of your house. That was around that June time. Probably that was when you just landed. Because we landed
July,
March.
July.
You landed in a good time. By then they said a lot. You know that COVID just started. You can't even come out of your house to
You
go
can't
to Walmart.
even-
They say only one family member can go to Walmart.
So I didn't even realize it was that serious
It was
in
that
Canada.
serious.
Because for us, first of all, it was bad in London because our news every day was 1,000 people died today.
Yeah.
Every day,
Yeah.
and 3,000 are sick in the hospital
Yeah.
every single day. So first of all, your mind is like shattered. Then we couldn't go out. There was no transportation. There was something else. The only thing that was exciting throughout the day was that at 6 p.m. every day, they would ring, they would like set alarms, and we just come out on our balcony and clap to support the
Oh, wow.
the
Okay,
health
COVID
workers,
workers, yeah.
Okay.
the
Yeah.
key staff.
Yeah.
That was the really
Yeah.
exciting
Yeah.
thing. And I had a new, I mean, so I had a new baby.
Yeah, I should give it.
No, my baby was like 6
Yeah,
months at
yeah,
the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like it was
That's
nasty.
right.
But so I didn't even realize it was that serious in Canada.
It was that serious.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
But I don't think I experienced too much because
Where were you?
we were here. Oh.
Yeah.
But by the time I had my son, I think the
Oh no! By your son's
hardest-
time, a lot of things are
yeah,
relaxed.
the beginning.
lot had
It was
relaxed.
then I was pregnant.
Oh,
yes. So then you're pregnant.
so you didn't have to feel that this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they could have called me a pram mom with
Yeah.
my first daughter, because I told you how hard it was when
Yeah.
everybody would go out.
Yeah.
The only way to get over it was by 12 o'clock unfailingly every afternoon. I'll just put her in the buggy. I would take her street to street, and then by 2 o'clock we will head back home, knowing that her dad will soon be home. And then I found a church that was near our house. It was like a 5-minute stroll. I used to go to that church. I think I prayed. I prayed very hard during my mat leave because there was nothing else to do. But at least at church, you see 1 or 2 people that have come to pray to. So I did that. And then they said, try mommy groups. Did you guys ever try any of these mommy groups?
No, I did not. I did not.
Nah, I went to mommy groups. So I found out that most of the moms are professional stay-at-home moms. So they don't know how you are struggling because you used to work. And I think that's actually one of the biggest issues. If you are a working mom, if you were working and then you became a mom, the loneliness gets to you because you are not seeing people. So yeah, those are a few things. And then after that, I started inviting people
To come over.
No, so it was now serious. Not to come and stay with me, to come and take me out, and I'll just leave the baby with her dad.
Okay.
Like I'll leave the baby with her dad.
Not when-
Like so, it was now a weekly thing. I started looking for all my friends. What are you doing this weekend?
Wow.
Can you come and take me out? And so it now became something exciting. And yeah.
Oh. Can we talk about how we navigate daycare, both home and abroad? Because choosing a daycare is not easy. And then, how do you know that daycare is fine for your child? Because I know me and Kome have a semi-horror story in Canada with daycare. And it was the same daycare, coincidentally. And we didn't even know ourselves there.
True.
At the time. We didn't know each other.
We didn't know each other.
Yes, but it was the same experience,
It was
same period.
So you know what? I think, and I think this is a Canadian thing. Daycare here, for me, there are too many opportunities for issues. In the UK, I lie you, because in the UK, we went to see like 7 daycares. We went to see like 7
I'm like,
daycares.
what?
And I thought that's normal.
No.
Like, don't you shop around?
Okay, you were not that the children went to
No,
seven.
no,
Okay,
no,
you
no.
were
We
looking,
went
okay.
to
I think
visit
she
like
thought you
7.
meant that you.
No. We went to visit like 7
No.
daycares.
Okay, then that makes sense. Okay.
And
okay.
so
But that's still a
I
lot,
got there
but-
was this particular one we went to visit, and we were at the door, and it just took them so long to open the door. Like, so the way the daycare is,
maybe cleaning
you press the bell, and then they'll come and get you. Exactly. So it took them like maybe 5-7 minutes to come and get us. I did not bother to enter to see how does the place look.
Yeah.
I just turned around. I'm like, nope, not doing it again, because I feel like that place must have been
Yes,
dirty
yes.
for it to take them that long.
Yeah. No, like
What was your own criteria?
My daycare stuff was not too bad for my daughter. Like, I just went with the option that was available. So it's very hard to get into daycare here, right? At least, I mean, it's easier. It's not even easier now. It's even
It's
worse now.
It's worse. now.
But back then, even though it wasn't cheap, you could still be on the wait list for a year. So by the time I didn't know that you could be in the pool before the baby was born, right? So I waited till my daughter was born. I think I almost waited till when I was almost ready to put, until somebody told me, oh, you know, you need to, because it takes time to get into the daycares. Now, there are different types of daycares here, right? So there's the home daycare, and then there's the big, like the ones that are like school-ish, where it's like a big daycare. It's a proper facility. It's not in a house. So I wasn't sure which option I wanted for my daughter, so I just put like the two options. So there's a pool you join, and this was in Ontario, right? There's a pool you join, and when you join that pool, you select in order of priorities the types of daycare that you're looking. Not just the types, even you can choose the specific daycares, because they were all under that pool. They were all licensed daycares. Now there's the option to go with the unlicensed, but I won't even get into that one, because you shouldn't put your kid in an unlicensed daycare unless you really trust the person that's running that unlicensed
But is
daycare.
even allowed to run an
Yes,
unlicensed?
you can.
It's allowed.
It's allowed.
It is.
Yeah. They're usually cheaper. There's licensed and unlicensed. They're usually cheaper, but it just means that you understand the risks involved in putting your kid there.
If
Because, you know, what if anything happens? They're not bound by anything, right? But whereas the licensed one, they have people coming to check them randomly and making sure that they're following the rules and the procedures and everything. So I just put her in a list, and I think 4 months after putting her in a list, home care advisor reached out to me and said, okay, so we have some home care options available close to your house. She gave me the options. I went to visit them. Me and my husband went to visit them with my daughter, so we can see how she plays in the house. We weren't sure, like they were the first to reach out, so that's how we put her in a home daycare. That's how she stayed, because the big daycares were harder to get into, because it's almost like you have to wait till when the oldest kid there graduates and goes to school before there's a lot of opening for a new set of kids, right? So it was kind of trickier. So we just went with it. We're like, okay, when the big one opens up, we'll join the big one. So we just did a home daycare. And we enjoyed the first person. And then she was having issues with the condo she was in, because some people were complaining, so then we had to move her out of that. Luckily for us, the big daycare had reached out, but my daughter did not actually like the big daycare. By the time we put her in the big daycare, it was a
So you not
mess.
to come back?
We now found, and we now had to look for another home daycare.
This brings me to my question, because with what happened with me and Kume, how did you know that your daughter did not like it? Because at that age, she couldn't talk or anything.
So here's the thing. When she's, before the big daycare, she was a very lively, playful baby, right? And then she joined the big daycare, and she never for one day smiled at anybody there or tried to have a conversation. And they're always calling us, come and pick her up. She's running temp. And I'm like, okay, we're just wasting money here, right? And then, so immediately, like, I noticed, I think it was like a month or 2 months in, I'm like, okay, I think we need to look for a home daycare. So then we started looking for a home daycare.
I need to go back to the farmer one.
Because, you know, we left her because they stopped her from running it in the house where she was, the condo where she was running it. So that's why we even left her in the first place. If not, she probably would have been there. Or maybe we would, I don't know. But so the big daycare just didn't work for my daughter. She just wouldn't smile. I had to be showing, there's one particular lady, I had to show them pictures. Like, look, this is my daughter.
she used to smell before she came here. Like, do you know that this thing you just said is actually very important? Because I think when Femi talked about it, Femi too, how did you know that your son wasn't enjoying
exactly
it?
like when I would drop him. Normally, my son is a lively baby. Anywhere he goes, I mean, any class, all classes he has been in, he's loved. He's like teacher spread. Everybody's like calling his name and everything. When I was leaving his last daycare, they did special send up for him, did everything. So he's loved, he's happy and everything. So when we now got to this other daycare, funny enough, it was a franchise of that other one we left. So I thought, okay, the same standard, everything. No. When we got there, first day,
No.
He was not happy. He won't smile. In fact, sometimes when I now drop him, he'll be holding my leg. I said, oh, he doesn't want to go. Don't drop me. And then, they couldn't talk. Yeah, so it's not like he can stay. I don't want to go. He'll just hold you. He'll not look, and then he'll now just carry, because he's carried those beans. Now, go to the class and everything. So he wasn't happy. Every time I dropped him. And then I just noticed, like you said, his countenance changed. He wasn't happy anymore. He wasn't smiling. He didn't always want to go to school. And then my mind was not at rest. That mom intuition. Every time I drop him, I just was not at peace. I'm like, this thing is off. Eventually, I said, no, I can't take it anymore. When I'm dropping my child, I want to have peace knowing that he's being well taken care of, so I can focus on my work. But I couldn't even focus because I was always thinking about him. So, and I always felt guilty every morning dropping him and seeing that his face. So I just had to change. And immediately I changed to another daycare.
That's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly what happened to us too.
So we never had that experience in the UK, but in Canada with my son, there was one day. So initially his dad used to take them to daycare and school. So I didn't used to get involved. But I just noticed that all of a sudden, someone who didn't used to cry before started crying. Like once he hears let's go, he starts to cry. Or he starts to look like I don't want to go. So that day I remember telling his dad, I was like, you know what? Don't worry. You go. I'll take them.
It's always mommies that notice this thing. The
daddies don't notice.
They don't say anything.
So I was like, you know what? Don't worry. You go. I'll take them. So I took his sister to school first. And then I was like, okay, we got back in the car. At that time, he was talking, but he wasn't talking well. So he could.
They can't like
say mommy.
Somebody, of course, they can say well, but they can't say like, somebody did this to me, or I don't like this,
explain,
or
so their frustration, like you can't.
So that day, I was driving back from school, but driving to daycare. We got to the intersection, and as soon as I started turning the car, he just said, "Mommy, daycare." I said, "Yes." The weeping, he just started bursting into tears and started weeping. Like, when a child is crying for attention and when he's crying out of genuine, I looked at him through the mirror. The kind of cry he was crying, it wasn't a cry of mommy, I just want to stay with you. It was a cry of almost like you want to kill me. I just changed direction and went home. And I just knew that something was wrong. So the next day, this story is long. So the next day, I took him to the daycare. I saw that he was uncomfortable. I just told him, I said, don't worry, be calm. Mommy's going with you. So we went there. And then the teacher that came to open the door said she's his teacher and was calling him the wrong name.
Even my son, that same daycare, they didn't know his name. Like, when I mentioned it, which one is it?
That's like extreme.
I'm like, how many are you in daycare that you don't know the child's whatever?
What? So this teacher came to take him in and was calling him a different child's name.
Was it the same daycare or just the same
the same daycare?
And you guys never met?
We didn't know each other. We never met. But when we now spoke, after that, we were going there at the same time. And it's the same experience. So definitely that confirms that something was wrong.
So do you know that I then asked the lady, like I was so annoyed. So I asked her, I was like, are you his teacher? Because I didn't used to go. They had never met me. I was like, are you his teacher? And she was like, yes. And she was trying to drag me. She was like, come on, bud. We're going to have fun. And the baby was dragging back. Like, please save me. I just saw that. I was like, she was like, Mom, don't worry, you can go. Once you go, he will settle down. I looked at the person she's talking about. Someone that looks like... I just saw that. I was like, you know what? Don't worry. I'll take him home.
Okay, you took
that was the last time my child stepped there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was good that you did that drop off because you saw her.
Meanwhile, his dad would go and drop
him. I just like, yeah.
Anyway, God bless mothers. Okay, let's go to cookie jar. I feel like there are a lot of questions in here. Femi, you are first.
Again. Just put me on the spot.
I like it.
Have your kids ever shocked you with how fast they adapted? Yes, I think they adapt.
So you're talking about, I think that question might be talking about like if you were in Nigeria and then you came
I think
here.
even generally adapts to change. Like I feel like they adapt so well. I don't know how to. I feel like maybe because adults were set in our ways, so sometimes we might have difficulty adapting. But them, give them 1, 2, 3. Okay, look at it. It's for example when they say, oh, let's say like how my sister said, maybe when somebody traveled, maybe it was her husband or what. Before it's like always daddy, daddy, daddy. The moment her husband traveled, 3 days he forgot that he had a daddy and he moved on with his life. Like they adapt.
Yeah,
so
they're
fast.
so very flexible.
You understand? So I think I wasn't. I mean, first time I was shocked, like you guys, that was fast. But after a while, I just realized that kids generally adapt.
I'm just curious around like, so people who move from Nigeria and come here when their kids are like
Young.
not babies.
Yeah.
You know, there's the baby phase and then there's the when they're like in school already and they move here. I feel like there's a bit of struggle with adapting.
That is when they are a bit more older. You know, the younger they are, the easier it is to adapt. But when you're a bit older, I think that's when it's harder to adapt. For example, when my daughter came, she was just 3 years old. So when she started daycare, she was just about. She turned 3 here. She was 2.5 when I brought her. She turned 3 here. So then she used to go to daycare in Nigeria. Coming here, she did well in the daycare. No stress, no nothing. She was.
Because I think some kids
but I know that the
struggle.
older kids, you know, because by then when you're older, you start forming friendships. They now have opinions of people and everything. So when you just come, it's like, who is this new kid? And
They're in school. Like I think I know a friend whose kids were already in school in Nigeria, and then they came here. You know, when they're used to like being treated a certain way in Nigeria, and then they come here and they start feeling not as accepted. Yeah, because so in Nigeria everybody's kind of equal. Like everybody's the same. Everybody looks the same. Everybody acts the same. Do you understand?
I was very conscious of that when I was transitioning my child, because even though she was in daycare, she was young. And that's why every time I'm looking for a school, I'm looking that there has to be a certain percentage of brown people in this school. I can't have all white.
You were very particular
I was
about
very
that.
particular about it. Do you know that even like her daycare now, she went to her daycare. So at the time I put her in daycare, it was that COVID time, they just opened and everything. So at that time I wasn't particular about it. I didn't really know, although I used to know, but I wasn't particular. So I just thought that there are not too many brown people here. Maybe 1, 2, whatever, right? Do you know, one day this girl was just a little over 3 or 4. She asked me, Mommy, why are we brown? My first question was, who told you are brown? Because I didn't tell you are brown.
Yeah.
She must have heard it somewhere.
They're very aware of it.
Yeah.
At some point,
Yeah.
my daughter too started calling herself black.
Brown, yeah.
Brown. Well, she was saying brown too.
Yeah, they call it
I don't
brown.
know
We say
why
black.
we
I don't know
say
why they say brown. That was why I knew that you
Are
didn't
you
hear it
not
from
brown?
me.
Are you
We
black?
actually, I get it that we're brown. I don't even know why they call us
You're
that. Even
brown.
them, they're not white. They're like reddish.
They're peach skin.
Peach, exactly.
Mommy,
So I don't know why
you
they
need
call
to
it
be
white
listening
and
to your
black.
kids. So they
Oh,
teach
the
them
kids say
in
peach skin now.
kindergarten. They teach them in kindergarten. We are many. Oh, so the song is we are many different kind of people. Some are peach, some are brown, some are caramel, some are this. And so they teach them.
Because I should know that it didn't come. I don't call brown. At least I say black. So that did not come from me.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this girl is actually noticing these things. So I started to be conscious. From there, that was when we moved to this school. So I was like, there has to be. She can't be the only brown person. There has to be at least. That's when I thought, so happy.
No, when we saw each other, I was like, I was actually looking. So when they were doing the orientation days, they had like a schedule for the orientation, and I was like, please, I'm looking for any other Nigerian here, looking for surnames, right? Because that's the
That's how
easiest
you
way
know
for me to know that
in
okay,
Nigeria.
there's going to be another Nigerian
Yeah.
there. I didn't even care whether it's Igbo or
Yeah,
Yoruba.
just in Nigeria.
Let it just be in
You guys are
Nigeria.
interesting.
Yeah, I was looking, and I saw and I booked my
Yes, because
she-
it was the
she
same
booked
day.
first.
Yeah.
And I saw I said, oh, and I
Yeah.
booked my own. I said,
Yeah.
okay.
See, true
That's how
confession.
we
So
met.
you people
No, she
should
told
get
me.
each
She
other.
told me. No, I booked. I was praying to
Yeah.
have one, but because I went for the orientation,
Yeah.
I was the only brown person. Even me, I'm not the child. I felt out of it. I was like, what's going on here? I hope this school is not going to be like this. So when I saw them,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like I was like, thank God.
I
was happy
yeah.
to see
And the
her.
kids
That's
still
if they
now-
were exchanging numbers now.
Yes, now
Yes.
that was the
That's the same day we exchanged numbers.
So you know
Yeah,
what?
used to
You
still
guys
like
are quite interesting because I don't think I've ever. Nope. For me, when we were choosing school, it wasn't about diversity. It's not that I don't want diversity. It's just that I was looking for a school that had a particular level. Diversity for me is like, okay. Maybe because my kids we didn't have to transition.
I don't know.
And I'm quite used to them not having too much. In fact, funny enough, I'm used to them not having diversity. Now, for me, diversity is not African. Diversity is at least we have some
Places,
Asians.
other places,
we
yeah.
have
Yeah, I
different-
agree.
I get that, but there must be one,
So
at least one
that's
or
my
two
own.
Africans there.
All right, so
No, like I was I'm not too particular about that too. But the reason why I'm always more curious, and I'm always more interested in. So like if I had two options and I had a school that really good, top school, barely has diversity in there, and I have another school, really good, top school, has diversity, I would definitely choose
for
it.
diversity.
You see what I mean? Like, so I'm not always intentionally looking for diversity, but when I see it, I'm more interested in it.
I'm more interested
And the reason why I think about it is when I left Nigeria and I went to the UK for my master's, well, first for an internship and then my master's, I was very, it was very hard, navigating like that space personally.
I feel like
first of all,
because you're an adult, it might even be easier for you.
I know, because I'm an adult and my mind's already formed, like there's a level of confidence I think I have as a person.
Do you understand?
Like where this, and mind you, where we're moving to, like where we're from, we're not like, we're not sensitized to think like that. Well, I never even thought about it. Where it's like, oh, my treated differently.
You're brown.
Is
in
that
Nigeria, you don't even realize.
When I left, I was maybe like 20, 21. Or maybe, I was maybe like 19, 20. Yeah, I was young. I think I was still kind of young. I was very conscious of it. First of all, accent-wise, I was very conscious of it. Second of all, like I could tell, like people were not sure if they should talk to me or not. And I was also I was in a community where like it wasn't like us Nigerians were not like the higher part of the population, like in terms of the split. We were the minority, right? So I was very aware of it, and I was just like, I was not interested. Like I struggled a little, right? So that's why when I thought about it for my daughter, I was like, I want her to be comfortable. Like there's only so much I can do to instill confidence in her. But at the same time, I want her to be able to, relate with like people from different places. So it was like trying to find a good blend, with stuff like that. So I mean, when she's aware of, her color, she's aware of her hair being different. Sometimes she admires the other, like, white people's hair, and I'm like, I'm like, your hair is also nice. She likes it too. She's like, yeah, I like it. My hair too is nice. I want to make it long. I want to make it this hairstyle. I want to do this. Like, she's aware of it. There's no removing it. So for me, it's like, how can I help her navigate all of that? Which is why I care about it.
And it's when they say that there are other people like me in my class,
It
or in my school, they won't feel odd. But some of these children start making them feel strange when they're the only ones. It's like, you're the only one that. And sometimes it's just child's play, like the children are racist
thinking,
too.
the kids are not thinking
you
about
understand?
it.
So, but that thing that might be like a joke, the person will be like, it's true. Why am I the only one that is looking at? Why am I the only one? So I didn't want that. I wanted her to have other people like her. So it's like I'm not the only one.
Or like food
this.
too. When they bring food and they open their lunch box.
Our food is very spicy. It has like sometimes strong
And it
smell. Because there was one thing I can't remember what I gave her to eat. I said, I don't want to eat it because the smell will be around the ocas. And maybe one time when she opened it, somebody said, I said, I not that person back that's how their own food is smelling. Like, in fact, I think I made her take that food to school next. It's true. I was like, I gave you food. You don't want to eat because somebody will say. What is that? Somebody say back
what
to them.
did you give her? Because let's
no.
honest,
This was normal. This was nothing crazy. I don't give Amala and Eba to school.
Okay,
now.
hold
normal
on.
rice and stew.
Okay,
you understand? Our stew can be like really like the smell is,
especially when it's been stored in the container and you open it.
And you open it in that thermos.
Yeah, I think it smells
good to us, but they're not used to the smell.
Yeah.
So for them, it's like, what is this? Right? It's just like how she was telling me about somebody else's food today. He bought sushi to school. Ew. Take you back to their food. Because somebody should not be telling you that your own food does not. Do you understand?
Yeah. Absolutely. But you know what? You are a posh mom. You sent rice and stew. That's how I read the story of somebody who sent her son with eba and ogbono.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a lot to eat.
But wait, as the boy eating,
she said that was what she had in her house. So
wait, did she make it in the morning? Because she had to make it.
Guys, I was not there. I didn't know. But the only thing is that shocked. She took the child and it was a boy. So he took eba and ogbono soup to school. And of course, what do you think happened?
Oh, yeah.
His classmates were making fun of him, and then the mom was saying, oh, she's very upset about
and this was abroad.
This is in the UK. So they were making fun of him, and the mom was upset, saying that the kids are being racist towards her son. I felt like slapping her through, like, no, let's be honest. if somebody brings, what's the weirdest thing somebody can eat? Like, I know some people eat, I know some people eat like frogs and everything.
Yeah, frog legs.
If somebody brings frog soup to school, your child will be one of the first people to also say, ew. Because, like, as much as we want our kids to be confident and we want them to blend, as in to assimilate, that's the word, right? Like, you as a mom, too, your brain should tell you that ogbono and soup.
They must have even been locust beans inside that ogbono, you know, like
ogbono just
that's why it to be
like
smelling.
it's not even it's the fact that you now use your hand to eat
or you can
it.
use fork.
Even if you
was
use
using his hand in school.
I don't know, I was not there. But even if you use spoon to eat it, right? It's slimy.
looks odd. Yeah.
Have you seen ogbono soup outside the context of our culture? It looks like baby poop. Like slimy baby.
It doesn't
like
look
it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that sometimes we
No, I
problem for
definitely
our
agree
children.
with I agree with you around like you need to also be careful. Like even as an adult, do you know when I used to
Yeah, when
work,
you go to work,
when I used to work back in the day and I used to take food to work. I used to anytime I make a foriro, you know, like Nigerian vegetable soup, I won't take it though. I think because somebody brought it one day and the air and you know like it's not the what do you call it where they have the microwaves.
Yeah.
They have lots of microwaves there. Everybody comes there to warm up their food and it's not in an enclosed space. It's like on the floor, open floor. So I could smell it. I was like, I must never bring like Nigerian vegetable soup to this place because it's obviously going to be disturbing. The smell is going to be disturbing.
They won't understand that this particular spice
Exactly.
that you put
I mean, let live. You know. So now think about it in the context of your children. Let's be thinking about those kinds of things.
I like to say
It's true. Okay, so my question says, which app or website has literally saved your sanity abroad? App. Me, I have answer. Instagram.
really?
I can testify to that for Temi. You say really? Did you just see how you said she follows like 1,000
no,
people? That is only
as in,
Temi
so I did not realize that that's what she's using it for.
No, that's for social. Like for me, it's just like I use it to like communicate with friends. You see random reels. They have funny reels. I'm not thinking about it in terms of like context of what's like helpful. In terms of like like we were talking about Baby Center app or like Glow app. No. I'm talking about it. Yeah, I just want to laugh because let me tell you what, like when I first came, I mean, like it was very hard making friends. I mean, that's a different topic for another day. But like, and I don't know, we stopped using Facebook at some point. Anyways, some people you want to chat with them, they're sleeping.
True.
Your friends abroad, they're in Nigeria, they're sleeping, or whatever it is. Everybody's busy with their lives. Do you understand? So I'm just looking for. Is it I watch TV? Or sometimes I go and I just forward somebody something and then it just spark a conversation and then we'll gist and we'll laugh. Like, for me anyways, it's because it has app/website. Kept your sanity.
I'm intrigued to hear Femi's one too.
Maybe I'll say Instagram too.
You too.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time.
Because which other app
compared to other social media apps?
Which other apps like keeps your brain?
It's like she has a different.
Yeah, maybe you have.
For me, not Instagram.
What would it be?
So I listen to a lot of podcasts
So where do you listen to them?
on Apple Podcasts. I listen to podcasts. So if you come into my car, if I'm not listening to worship music, I'm listening to podcasts. And so for me, I feel like feeding my brain the right kind of energy is very important for me. I feel like for me, social media is like the jungle. Like anything can just jump out
I
at
feel
you.
I understand.
And I always want to have like a positive mind.
So for me, that's what I use YouTube for. If you go to my YouTube, my algorithm is different from my Instagram. My YouTube is just learning, church,
Me too.
motivational speech, how to do this, that's my YouTube.
Yeah.
But you know that's what most people use YouTube for. If you're looking for like laughs,
Instagram
and chat.
Timmy likes to laugh.
I love looking for laugh. I mean, that's why I feel like it's just. I mean, like this is only a short time that we have on earth. Like enjoy it. Don't take things too seriously. Like for me, like I've worked from morning till evening. I'm not listening to how to do something again. I just want to relax and scroll. Yeah, I
Makes
just
sense.
relax and scroll and enjoy myself. But mind you, like I feel like there's also a discipline that comes with it, right? Like, so I try not to allow it affect my day to day. Like when I'm like now, like I must not. If I need to delete it, I'll delete it. It's not the end of the
Yeah, you're
world.
not
And
addicted
also,
to
yeah,
it.
I'm not addicted to it. Then secondly, when I'm watching stuff on Instagram, I am very, very aware that it is a magnified slash what's the word for it? Unrealistic. It's not everybody's stuff you watch on there that is real. So I'm just watching it for the fun of it. I'm not watching it to copy other people's lifestyles.
Of
Now it doesn't
course.
mean I haven't learned a thing or two from it, but it's just I already have that mindset. My husband doesn't use social media. He doesn't post anything on social media. So for me it's like I'm not going to, if I see somebody else post their wife or their husband, it's like, this would be nice. But it doesn't mean that because my husband is not doing it, something's wrong with my marriage. Do you understand what I mean? Which is
Exactly.
what
When you start
usually
comparing
happens with
and all
like a
that.
lot of people when
Yeah.
they go on social media.
Interesting.
Let's see
Just,
your
I
question.
love the fact that we're so different. Okay, so what is one thing you wish you brought but didn't? Can I say my mother?
Brought from work. Okay.
Some people say they're nanny.
Guys, I left too long ago to have
To have a nanny.
anything apart from my mom. I think even now, and I don't want any other person, like I'm not looking for anyone else if you're not my mother.
Disclaimer.
Like, do you get, like, there's some people that will take aunties or any
Yeah.
family relative? No, please. Like, I feel like I don't want aunties or cousins or I don't, because in fact, if you're coming to add stress to me because I can't relax the way I would relax if it was my
course.
mom. I don't even know how people do it. Like, one random family member will just carry their bag and come to your house and you, like, I don't know. So, yeah, my mom. I still tell her, I'm like, seriously, I'm not benefiting the way I should
Yeah.
from having a mom. But yeah.
I feel like there's something that I want us to talk about this, having kids abroad that we haven't really touched on. In Nigeria, we don't have to worry about things like rainbow and changing your gender because the society doesn't
Yeah.
tolerate that, at least for now. But here is different. So how do you navigate that with your kids, especially at a very young age?
It's a- this
Prayer.
Prayer.
Like,
prayer
prayer is
And-
what I would say because
and giving them, yeah.
like, the truth is, I've always had that mindset that you can try your best and things will still go wrong.
True.
So in the absence of any, like, for sure method, pray.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of prayer is like, I mean, I did the same, like praying constantly, and also like giving them a really good foundation around what those things are in our faith. You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, there's a part where you pray on your kids every day and you do all that stuff, but sometimes like just the way we teach them to be very confident in themselves, in their hair and their face, like the color, is the same way we need to teach them confidence in their faith, right? It's like, okay, this is, we have male, female. There's nothing in between. This is what the Bible says, teaching them the level, depending on, as they grow, you can, increase the level of the discussion to incorporate like things that you want them to know about. Because at some point they're still going to meet, they're still going
Of
to
course.
interact, they're still going to know about these things, whether it's through TV they're watching or like all that stuff. So yeah, there's that, like educating them in your own way as they grow older. And there's also like making sure that they're watching the right things, they're having the right associations.
Yeah, friends.
Yes, the right friends, and it's not even directly telling them, oh, if somebody is doing this, it's just around like things like, okay, if someone is acting weird towards them, they should be able to recognize it. If somebody is saying things that they know is not true, they should be aware of it. If somebody, tells them something that is not nice, you know, they should be aware of it. Like all those kinds of things, like making sure they're equipped to like pick the right friends for them. Like those are the things that I focus on, at least here, because honestly, and then of course picking the right schools.
Yeah.
you
I
know.
think because our kids are still at a young age, right? So we're not confronted with this per se. I think in our own instance, what we have actually been confronted is like bullying, right? Where someone is being out like
Nasty.
nasty, mean, deliberately, intentionally towards your child, and how to navigate that. And I think for a lot of kids, they find it hard to tell their parents. Like, you know, someone said this to me. I was like, so in my house, it's open door policy. If someone was mean to you, you best believe I'm following you to that person, right? And I remember my little one coming home one day and saying, there's this older child at school that kept on calling him a loser. You know the person.
In kindergarten.
So he is in kindergarten. The person,
person.
doing that
Oh, it's not in
is
kindergarten.
the sister's grade 4.
Maybe the person cannot
You
face
know
the
the
I know the
person,
person.
right?
The person cannot face the sister, so the person is now coming to face.
And
That's just horrible.
I'm sorry, I did not wait for the parent, because we've tried multiple times to talk to the parent about the behavior. And it's so annoying. They couldn't control their child. So that day,
You show them who's boss.
no boss. No, that day I went to pick my children, and my little one comes out and says, XYZ called me a loser and was even doing a sign like this to me. Unfortunately for the child, he was passing as they were narrating to me. I just called him. I was like, come, did you not do this? And he was giving me the daggers. He was looking at me. So I don't know what you're talking about, but that was the last day it happened. Right? And so I feel like we should be proactive in defending and protecting our children, not just waiting for,
them to figure it out.
No, yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Bullying is a big
I think
one.
It's a big thing.
Did I pick a question
yeah,
now?
you've done yours, so it's just audience
Okay.
left.
All right, question for the audience. So school lunches abroad, have you given in to sandwiches, or are you still packing rice for your kids?
It's
It's for the audience. But I wish I could answer this. It is such a good question. Like, so are you, like, moms in diaspora, are you one of those people that pack rice, or are you doing the pizza? What's the other one they like? Not sandwich pizza, and there's a third one.
I don't know what that is.
I can't remember now, but don't worry.
Veggies.
No, this one, what's it called? Lasagna.
Oh,
That's even that's like rice
Lasagna.
now. That's like rice. It involves work.
No. So, like hot school lunches now.
Oh,
They give them at school. So are you one of those ones that you be like, no, thank you, keep your hot lunch. I'll pack jollof rice. And if you're one of those ones that
Fried rice.
pack ogbono and soup, can you let us know how and why you do that?
Maybe you do have a valid reason other than to torture your kid.
Right? If you've enjoyed watching this episode of Beyond 30 podcast, can you do us a favor and hit the subscribe button? And also, leave us a comment. Let us know what it is you like about it, and if there are any topics you would like us to talk about in the future. Until then, we'll see you.